So now it kind of gives me a plan. Now, this plan is something I thought about after doing demos, after messing around with things. I'll run you through my plan. All right. And so, first and foremost, I'm going to make all the tracks revolve around the root of E, with the chords usually being either E major seventh or E major. Sometimes I throw it so E major seventh is da 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 da, and then E major da 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 da. Right, that's what you're looking at. I sometimes throw in an E major note, da 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 da, you know, but I always wanted to start on E, and it was really just for practical reasons. Sometimes I have an idea for a song and I grab a guitar and it's already basically an E, so I can start jamming, and then like if I finish on an E major, on E major seventh or whatever I'm doing, that's where I've got to end up. So just kind of logically, for my kind of working process, E works really well. So that's what I did. Especially it's a lot of work. You know, this was like kind of 2 years of writing music and stuff. E, G sharp, B, D sharp. There you go. Bass notes will often be quite long and move only to inject character. All right, so easy enough. Just whack long notes in. You know, if you're going into a phrase, if everything cuts out, having a little bit of a walking bass line moment is kind of quite playful and nice. So just use it sparingly, but long and low is good. I'm going to do 12/8 as the time signature, and it just basically gives the whole thing a natural swing, especially when all the other parts are kind of moving to a more 4/4 frame generally. Also, melodies will be simple. I'll try and span at least 2 octaves where possible. Just gives it a bit more vibrancy. Now this is just a plan, you know, like it's not always going to be like this. You know, I wanted some pieces to have a kind of waltzy feel, and they're just kind of just flat in a more kind of 6/8 time signature, or you know, there might be kind of themed areas. You know, we've definitely got some spooky areas in the game. We've got a kind of Indiana Jones-esque kind of temple vibe to stuff going in, and all of these can be kind of flexed on and kind of picked out as well. But as a rule and a plan, this is what we're looking at. And then just a kind of note on the instrumentation, we kind of touched on it earlier, but I went for kind of 3 vintage synths, and I've gone for 3 because it gives me options. I had one that was kind of warm and fuzzy and vibrant and kind of, you know, like kind of really kind of tremolo-y and buzzy and just all that good stuff. Then we had one that was just a little bit more spacey and reverby, but like different in terms of texture and frequency. And then we just had a really clean organ sound, and that's pretty much the 3 synths. Having them like really different allows you to kind of use them in combination. So you've got some like little offbeats on the clean one. You can take this other synth away for a lead, and they don't clash when you're mixing them. So all really good. I've also decided that I'd use acoustic guitar to support the synth chords, or sometimes entirely replace them depending on the track. So using an acoustic guitar allows me to kind of pick out chords, and it creates movement in a pleasing way, which is particularly good if you're describing certain different areas. You know, if you want to have the movement of running around a field, or if you want to have just the kind of chilledness of just and when I say acoustic guitar, we are, of course, talking my unique brand of MIDI acoustic guitar with all the processing done on the top to make it sound real. But it's the other thing is, it's like I often jammed and wrote some of these songs on acoustic guitar, so it makes sense just to put the acoustic. If I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty cool, just whacking it in sounds good. And also it's like a sunny sound, like a nice beautifully plucked acoustic guitar has a bright sunny sound, and the game is called Sunshine Days, so and even it sounds sunny, probably going to be good, right? I went for a really gorgeous piano sound that I actually created using hybrid keys. You can get that on Contact if you got that. and it just cuts through the lo-fi noise of the chords really effectively. Sometimes as well, I'd use just a clean kind of electric guitar sound if the melody needed a little bit more bite. Sometimes it needed that, but it's always good to have a few different options. So remember, like 42 tracks plus on this album, you know, if they all sounded exactly the same, it would be a bit of a boring listen. But you want this gives you a little bit of head. So then the last one is like the drums have a dead sound with a clap replacing a typical snare. The way I did this, I used a Butch Vig drums again on Contacts. I mean, Contacts just just I use it all the time. It's so good. But the Butch Vig drums, they have a preset called Dead Room, and it just works. It's like barely had to tweak it at all, and it gave me exactly what I was looking for. Just touching on that as well, I'd often just use a shaker. I tried just doing it just naturally, but I thought because everything is so MIDI and grid based, I just use something. I think it was like Expand 2 or something. I use Pro Tools, so that's the instrument set that comes with Pro Tools, and just grabbed one of the natural percussions for that. So now I've got a plan. So this is looking really, really good, right? So we've got like, this is the plan. This is the instrumentation. And then you set up your templates and then you start writing demos. Okay. It's very important to get your template sorted. Yeah, no, I do love. I'm a bit of an expanser. It's wildly underused, I think, but I've just always stuck with it. Anyway, just saw something in the chat there. But anyway, we use. So now we've got a plan. We've got our instrumentation done. Get your template absolutely locked in, and also at this point, I like to try and finish like 2 or 3 tracks and get them mixed and get them mastered. Even like you're going to be doing this a lot of times, and you might end up, you're 20 tracks in and be like, oh god, I think I need to go and kind of to remix all of them and change them. A project, I wrote this over kind of 2 or 3 years, so to think that you're not even the same person in 2 years, let alone writing the same type of stuff for the same type of project. So just be mindful that, having a plan and being consistent is really helpful, because, if you veer off the path too much from when you started, it's either because you're doing something better and then you should collect it, or you've just lost the plot and you've just gone off on your own, that you've gone down the rabbit hole and stuff. And, you want a consistent soundtrack that goes across the whole game. You're not serving yourself and your next big idea. Oh yeah, got it. This is what it's going to be. You're not serving your ego. You're serving the players, and you're serving the game, and you're serving your team that you're building this game with. So be organized, create templates, and yeah, that's what I would advise for sure.